Namaste, everybody. My name is Bhavpreeta Thakur, and I teach English at the University of Patanjali. I teach communication, so I'm very intrigued by speech, vak, and knowledge, which is Brahma. And today we are going to discuss about Brahma's body is language, and language is the medium through which knowledge is transmitted. Sage Maitreya. Brahma means knowledge and Vak means speech. Knowledge cannot be transmitted without speech. So in this research paper, we shall discuss how Brahma, Vedic knowledge, can't be understood and innovatively used in today's world. In the next slide, we are going to learn about where did language come from. Like living beings, words have no traceable beginnings, whether they are eternal or created. This rule about words is called their eternity. Language is a tool for knowledge and wisdom. It arose as a result of Brahma's endeavor to contemplate and transmit knowledge, the Vedas. Words are the symbolic form of ideas. When you see something, you translate it into words in your brain. And that's why one learns different languages, so one can think differently. In the next slide, we are going to talk about what is Brahma's body made up of. Brahma created Vak and became fascinated by her and wanted to marry her because he's wisdom and she is linguistic mastery. But in her mind, he was like a father to her, as he had created her. Brahma disliked himself for advancing on her and wanted to get rid of this polluted body. So he got rid of it and Vak became his body for him. And after their marriage, in the form of her being his body, he could express the Vedas in words. The body itself, Brahma, made from poetry, the most refined and beautiful form of language. The fine hairs of the body are the delicate 28-syllable poems called Ushnik. Its smooth complexion is a praiseworthy 24-syllable poetry called Gayatri. Its musculature is the strong 44-syllable poetry called Trishtub. Its circulatory system is the flowing 32-syllable poetry called Anushtub. Its bones are the sturdy 48-syllable poetry Jagati. Its bone marrow is the viscous 40-syllable poetry Pankti, and its breath is the expansive 36-syllable poetry Brihati. The vowels are the life force of Brahma. The semi-vowels are its strength. The syllables are its senses, and the consonants define its form. Music and the 7 universal musical notes are also included as a form of language. Om is the basic seed of all language. Therefore, it is a basic representation of the Supreme Being. Further, we shall discuss about how can we learn the meaning of words. There are different ways by which we can learn the meaning of words as described in the Indian theories of meaning. The first one, Vriddha Vyavhara, the usage of words by elders. Apta Vakya, the direct statement of a trustworthy authority, is another way by which people generally understand the meaning of words. Vyakaran, grammar. In fact, the most important use of grammar is to help people to learn the language quickly and correctly. Upamana, analogy. Kosha, lexicons. Vakashesha, the rest of the passage in the context. Gemini says that when there is a doubt about a meaning of a word, the rest of the passage should be taken into account. Next, Vivriti, explanation. And the last is Siddha Pada Samnidhya, the syntactic connection with words already known. In the next slide, we are going to talk about what is divine love. In addition to these 8 methods, I have added a 9th, which has been mentioned in our Vedas as well, which is divine love. Now, here I'm going to tell you a story about Narada and Vedvyas. So, after writing all the Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas, Vedvyas is still sitting and feeling a little incomplete with all the work that has been done through the generations. He still feels there's some important information he is failing to he has failed to mention in the Vedas and the knowledge and the texts they've got together. So Narada, being his guru, tells him a story about his previous life when he was a child of an unmarried woman who was a servant. So after a very long time, after when he was 14 years old, a group of sages came to the house where he used to live and were singing the Bhagavatam. He got mesmerized by the love they had for Vishnu while they were singing the Bhagavatam, and he wanted to go along with them. But the sages told him that he has some karma and he'll know when his karma is over. And that day, he should leave to meditate on Vishnu. So after 14 years, he was a four-year-old boy then. And after 10 years, his mother went to do some household work. And when she was coming back, a snake bit her and she passed away. Narada got upset, but he realized that his karma was over. So he went to the forests to meditate upon Vishnu. And the moment a 14-year-old boy closed his eyes and remembered Vishnu with all the love in his heart, Vishnu appeared in front of him immediately. And then Vishnu told him that I have come today, but I will never appear in front of you ever again. But if you remember me with this love that you had today for me, all your life, in your next life, you shall live with me in Vaikuntha. And saying that, he left. And so Narada, he spent his entire life saying Narayan, Narayan, and remembering Vishnu the same way when he first saw him. So every time he said Narayan, he remembered Vishnu with that much love. And we all know today that Narada can travel everywhere that he wants to. And of course, the doors of Vaikuntha are always open for him. So after that, we shall just discuss if can divine love be taught? So my one thing that I would like to say is that even knowledge is ugly without love. And Vedvyas expressed his doubt that the story is beautiful, but I am not sure if I can write about so much beauty of the all attractive, and especially for the audience of the Kali Yuga. So Devrishi Narada encourages him and asks him to mention these two things and add these two things about anything he writes. So the first thing was describe the all attractive as one with everything, yet distinct from everything. Two, explain that everything rests upon him for existence, destruction, and creation. Vyasadeva persists and says that love cannot be manufactured. Love is natural and love is causeless. You are asking me to give love to humanity, but I am unable to do something that is going to make people love someone, even if it is Bhagwan. Certainly, divine love cannot be generated, but you get love by meeting someone who has love. Same as emotion cannot be manufactured, but they are contagious. Bhakti, which is fundamentally an emotion, is contagious. If you want to love someone who has a different philosophical outlook than you do, then find some people who love those people, and you will have that love. You cannot intellectually generate love, and love is the language of the soul. In the next slide, to finish this research paper, I'll leave this. So, why should one rely on scripture to decide validity? Scripture is essential, not reasoning alone. Right conduct is not established by reasoning disassociated from scripture. Even the knowledge which the sages possess has the scriptures for its reference. And at the end, I would like to say, speech occupies a key place in the scheme of things. It is crucial in the process of comprehension and action. Consciousness is comprehended only as association with speech. And if you speak well, you understand the meanings of the words that you're saying, whether it's the language of basic language, or whether it's the language of the soul, or it's the intellectual language with association with the language of the soul, you can attain moksha. You don't have to leave everything behind, take sannyas, or give up on things. If you just do everything with keeping love in your heart and mind, and a person in this Kali Yuga age can still attain moksha by speaking the language of love, which is the language of the soul itself. Thank you.